Okay, it has started transmissions now. Welcome to D&D. Today,
D&D.
today we have two special guests.
Yes.
Give it up for Papanda
Yeah.
and
Hi.
Julie.
Julie Rose Gold, hi.
I'll allow you to introduce your characters in a second. Thorin, as you continue walking through the bazaar, you see it's a quiet little place as of now. Lots of people trying to sell their goods amidst the thunderstorm. Though the thunder and lightning has died down to just a simple downpour. Although still light, people are still sheltering themselves under little canopies and whatnot that they have found around. You still notice some peculiar faces. Wood elves trying to sell alchemic potions and little knickknacks of seeds and whatnot, trying to convince the town folks to buy. You see many of the small folk, gnomes and halflings, trying to discuss ideas of adventure and whatnot. And dwarves obviously trying to outdrink the elves in their old little feuds. But what catches your eye is a pair walking in unison. Papanda and Trishana, would you please like to describe your characters?
You want to go first, Julie? Okay. Keone is a fairly short-looking woman with snow white hair and two rabbit's ears. She's wearing a dress that looks like it's a bit too big from her, and she's just kind of hiding under a stall, jumping every time there's a loud bang from the thunder.
There we go.
A nose twitching every few seconds, looking around.
And then for Trishana.
I'm still setting up. I'm really sorry.
It's all good.
I'm still setting up because I want to make sure that I put my character into my live, and I'm still trying to set up my live.
That's alright. Well,
where's the map that we're supposed to be on? Can you send me a link to that?
That's the battle map. Right now it's just simple descriptions. If that's alright.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Theater of the mind.
Yes.
I'm still, learning.
It's all good. You see this rabbit folk and her friend. They are very peculiar, as rabbit folk aren't very common. While other folk are. Though she does seem paler than most, but friendly enough. Would you like to go speak?
Oh, hello there.
Pip, by the way, you have your stream still open.
Oh, I'm not streaming.
Oh, you're not? Ready?
Oh, you mean yeah. Let's go.
Veggie stuff.
Great.
But for now, we got things to do. You still hear the cheering music coming out of what seems to be something called the Barmaid's Beauty. You don't know if it's either a tavern or a brothel, as you do hear the loud music of, musicians inside, and, patrons loudly singing and drinking in unison, with beautiful barmaids inside, and a gruff-looking bartender, as the doors swing open repeatedly as drunken races come in and out, more and more so. And Although the stand outside seems the person has left, including taking all their baubles. The other stands are still trying to get a little bit of coin out of this. The people still braving the weather. But for now, it seems to getting a little calmer.
This music isn't copyrighted, right?
This is just like medieval fantasy stuff, so...
Okay, I just wanted to make sure,
I'm just trying to look. No, it's made by Fantasy and World Music Fletchers, where they do... Hold on. Let's see here. I'll go with ambience instead, just to make sure.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just gonna do my intro real quick, and then I'll be ready.
Got it.
Okay. So I'll mute myself so I can do the intro real quick.
There we go. This is better, right?
Yep.
Try not to sneeze.
That's alright.
My brain's just going, don't sneeze, don't sneeze, don't sneeze,
Don't sneeze, don't.
Don't fucking sneeze!
Oh, I found a D&D ambience tracks, so those will be much better.
Nice.
Let's introduce everyone. First, we have the awesome Disturbed Engineer.
Hello there.
We have the beautiful Pipanda.
Wah!
And then we have Thorn.
I love that.
General Kenobi!
General Kenobi!
Yeah.
So I think that now I'm supposed to introduce my character.
Yep.
Okay. Let me pull her up. I have to find her. Where is she? Oh, information. That's where I find it.
Yep. While you pull that up, I'd like the other two give a reintroduce yourselves for her stream.
Yep.
If that's all right with
I'm
you.
12. I hold Dork that was captured and experimented by school.
You don't need to explain your backstory. You just need to explain what you look like.
Damn it all.
Am I supposed to give my backstory or
Short,
just what my
stubby
character?
man.
What your character
needles
look like, their appearance.
Short, stubby dwarf with needles on his back and claw feet.
Like hedgehog needles?
Like
I
spikes.
guess you could say that.
Chaos time. I mean, no chaos whatsoever. I'm completely innocent and an angel.
Sure you are. Is it my turn or are we waiting for Pip?
It's your turn. Wait, no.
Okay.
Yep. I forgot Pip.
Me?
Yep.
So Keone is a fairly short-looking woman with snow white hair and rabbit ears to match. She's kind of wearing a dress that looks like it's a little too big for her, and she's just... her nose is twitching now and again, and her ears are just kind of... they're doing that rabbit thing where they just turn to all the noises.
Yep. And now it's your turn.
So Trishana, she was originally a wood elf, a noble wood elf, but who was attacked by a vampire. So she has a very pale complexion. She's a rather busty woman. She has a lot of curvature, bustiness. She's rather tall, and she loves to wear ball gowns and hooded Renaissance style dresses.
There we go. As you see these two rather... These are the fanciest dressed women you've seen in the outer layer. You assume that the rain has stopped them from going further into the middle and the inner layers, where they seem to be belonging more rather than this more peasant-type crowd. Thorin.
Hello there.
They...
Hi!
Hi
How are
there.
you? Why are you so short?
Oh,
He is quite short, isn't he?
Are you a hedgehog?
no. Just a dwarf.
What's
I
a
like
dwarf?
him.
You see as the bar doors swing open again, as two men carrying what seems to be a ragged human, scruffy hair that has been frilled about, brown shirt and pants and cloth wrappings as shoes, as two bulkier men throw him out, him landing on his chest into the mud, onto the streets of mud. As he slowly gets up, him covered in mud, he's like, oh no, this is just ghastly. As he casts Prestidigitation, as you watch as it flakes off of him, the mud, and he says, ugh, civil discussions always lead to this. As he whips around, he stops and looks at the peculiar sight of you three and says, what? Not Wayne? You watch as he rubs his eyes for a moment and it's like, well, ain't this peculiar? As he walks towards the three of you and says, hello, I'm... where are my manners? I am Roderick von Cleves. I'm part of the school. I'm part of the College of Magi. I haven't seen many of, well, what races you are? You watch as he takes a quick glance towards the middle layer gates and says, would you be so kind as to follow me? I'd like to talk to the three of you. You seem interesting enough.
I suppose.
Can I insight him?
You sure can. Roll.
5! He's the most trustworthy guy in the world.
Wait. Julie.
So, question: am I allowed to like add my own little things in the conversation, or am I just to keep quiet?
You definitely can. And another thing is, the roll that you just made, you have this thing called a help action, where if you're not doing something yourself, you can help her out on any checks that she wants. So, would you like to help her out in this?
Sure, I guess.
Thank you.
What am I supposed to do?
Go to combat and skill checks, and
Okay.
watch Pip roll again. And also, Pip, can you change your nickname in the server to your character's name? So it's easier for me to call you by your character's name during conversations.
Trisha licks her fang, sucks in her teeth, and says, I don't know about him.
I rolled a 12.
12 plus.
Plus, oh, am I supposed to roll something?
No. Pip, what's your insight?
Oh no, that's including the modifier.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. You don't know. The college is in the inner sector, so you'd assume he'd be, well, at least dressed up in traveler's clothes instead of peasant gown. But was in the outer layer, so he could be just trying to blend in with the crowds, not trying to get mugged. It's up to you to trust him.
If you're in the inner layer, why did you just get thrown out of that place and into the mud like a dirty little bad word?
You watch as he takes a deep breath. You watch as the amber hue in his eyes slightly fade in and out, strangely enough, as he says, I am currently writing a thesis on the exotic races of the world. And so, I was questioning some of the Tritons in there. Sea folk. They boast about their histories. Very prideful race. They claim to have fought every monstrous beast, from sharks to killer whales to those you can't even imagine in the abyss. I might have riled them up a bit and instigate might have been a middle world on a prowess of strength as they beat up a few of the other patrons. They eventually calmed down, but I was blamed for the whole matter. I am still new at this. He gives what you can only describe as a nervous giggle, as he is still a young lad, barely out of his 20s, as you can tell by his ever swaying gaze away from the two women towards Thor, trying to keep his eyes away from his deformities as well, as he's struggling to find a place to look without making a scene, so to say.
Well,
Will you buy us a meal?
I think you watch as he goes to his belt pouch, and you watch as he grabs what seems to be nothing, but you hear the jiggling of coin and says, I know a good place that'll get you a good meal. Do one of you have a cart or anything we can use?
What's a cart?
no, we don't have a cart.
Thorin, would you like to interject?
We do have a caravan back there, but
We
it's
do.
currently being housed at the moment.
Why have I been walking so long then?
Exercise mostly. But anyways, you each. Would you like to follow Thorin? Would you like to lead them to your mobile lab?
Yes.
As you each quickly and with haste run towards the Thorin's mobile lab, you see a very strange sight. It seems to be a cart, with very heavy modifications. Very reinforced armors on the sides, bigger wheels with better traction. Two horses that are simply letting the rain fall on them as they just wait for their master's return. And on the inside, that's where it comes in. From the outside, you saw what looked like iron sort of chimneys. You saw, but as you enter inside, you see a tiny workshop, a large iron slab that with smithing tools all over, hammers, nails, different types of ores splattered about, corners and cabinets full of what you see as herbs and different types of vials and whatnot, and underneath this little opening where you don't even see the rain coming in, open vials with fumes seeping out, and in the corner, chained up to what seems to be little moving parts of the ceiling, is a warforged with no legs, currently putting armor plating on its arms and seemingly trying to fit it together. You watch as its eyes point up and says, "More visitors, I presume, Thorin?" As
Yep.
you are now staring at a warforged. A juggernaut warforged, to be precise, by its more than bulky frame and tough iron look. Built not built for not aesthetics, but for war. You watch as the Roderick is completely in awe on this sight. And you two, Keon and Trish. Hello?
Is there
Yes?
is there like a window that's pointing out to the horses?
Yes, there is. And you see, in front of this window, is a Haggerty-looking goblin with a bucket. This goblin has a long nose that droops down. Big old ears with little snips and snaps in it from looks like scrapes and whatnot. Eyes that seem too big for its head. Staring at you and gives a big smile with some of it with its two front fangs missing and a bunch of jagged yellow teeth.
She's gonna smile at it and look at the Wardforge and Foreign and go, "Can I go sit with them?"
Yep.
Trisha begins to look around at the oars, randomly picking up one and hissing slightly as it burns her finger, and then looks at the others. There's nothing to worry about. That has a bit of silver in it, however.
The Warforged takes a gleaming look, and you watch as it slowly uses its chance to move towards the bucket and just moves it away from the window as the goblin kind of takes a worried glance. He goes, "Bucket?" Yeah, the Warforged gives it points out to the window, and you watch it as it the bucket, except the goblin runs out in a hurry on all fours, climbs on the side of the wagon, and gets right besides the window and starts using the horses to pull the wagon. Acting as the... Is it called a chauffeur back in the medieval ages, or is it called something else?
I could look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. Carriage
I think it was a carriage driver.
Carriage driver name. Let me see here. A coachman. You watch as the Warforged looks back and says, "That's our coachman Bucket. He was found by Thorin and his gaggle of misfits."
He's cute.
You watch as he carefully takes out what you now see is a baby lizard folk out of the bucket, wrapped in a simple linen blanket. As he rewraps it and puts it back in, you notice as the brief look at it that it seems to be young to tot. It seems to be about a few months old at this point, 2 to 3. Skin like ruby, or scales, rather.
Keone is she's gone to sit with the baby lizard folk and the goblin, and she's just started using shape water to keep the rain off of them and the horses.
The baby's inside, and the goblin's outside. But
with the goblin, then.
Okay, you go outside, and the goblin seems a little cautious. But as you give it a little bit of protection, you watch as it gives a little hum. What do you do, Trish? Do you wish to examine more of the inside of the mobile wagon as it begins moving throughout the outer layer and towards the middle layer? Trish?
Could I examine it?
Make an investigation check.
How do I do that?
Just roll a d20 plus whatever your investigation is in combat and skill checks.
Okay, Now, how do I figure that out again?
So let me show you how.
Okay.
So you see in the skill checks and abilities,
Yeah.
you see intelligence or investigation.
So do I do that based on my own skills?
Yeah,
or
like
do I have to-
the modifiers. So for example, if
Okay.
you have +3 in it, you do what I did.
Okay, I see. So I do roll. What is this? My intelligence or my?
Investigation, which is based off your intelligence, but I don't know if you have a proficiency in it.
I think I do. I'm not sure.
Got it?
So I do roll 1d20 plus 1.
Yep.
Plus 1. I got a 9.
Although you look over the entirety of it, cabinets full of herbs, vials of potions, different ores on the table, and other sorts of knickknacks and deals. Nothing really catches your eye. You do notice that it's a well-built wagon, and modifications started years, maybe even decades ago.
Could I still steal some of the ore?
Within eye shot, that's going to be pretty hard. But you may try.
True. I won't.
Okay. You watch as the horses ride up to the middle layer gate. As you see the village guard, known as the bear guard, named for their emblem of a grizzly bear, walk up and do a simple check again. 10 minutes for a detect magic spell, checking around for any goods of illegal intent, and then let you off into the middle layer. Roderick, slowly but surely, opens the window and says to the goblin, "Over there is my house right there, right beside the little bookshop, if you can be so inclined." You watch, and as he points over, you see there's right beside of this big old bookshop with windows showing a giant cavalcade of books that reach from floor to ceiling on shelves, and a small little human man tending to each of them, dusting them off. It's a humble little home in between, seemingly squished in between two shops. He says, "To the right of it is a little butcher's. Although the smell of meat could have drove me crazy by now, I can always change the scent." As he snaps his fingers, and it smells like lilacs in an instant. You watch as Bucket gags at the smell of flowers, and pulls the horses back so they stop right in front of his house. He gets out, holding the robe, and says, I wish to talk to you inside, okay?" You each follow them. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She's gonna say goodbye to the goblin and give him like a little pat on the head and then follow.
You watch as he gives you a wide, genuine smile and crawls in through the window and starts rocking the bucket. You each follow him inside of his house. It's nothing to brag about. A simple, clean home made of wood. It couldn't be more than 15 feet wide, with cabinets, tables, and all that huddled together. A staircase leading upstairs where you assume where his private quarters and little office is. As he says, "You may take a seat over there," as he points to the small table. "I'll get some tea running."
Do you have any ice?
You watch as a face of not confusion, but what seems to the question, but rather not at the question what you're asking, but about what he expected. And he says, I haven't heard someone ask for ice in a long time. As he takes out a cabinet, and you watch as a slow fog drifts in, and he says, "This is a little, it's a little cold." As he uses Mage Hand to lift it out, and says, "I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna." He uses Mage Hands to break off a piece, puts it in a little cup. What type of tea would you like?
What's tea?
It's flavored water that you use herbs to give it better flavors. I like using this one called Earl's Grey.
Have you got mint?
I believe so. As he takes a look through another cabinet, and you see, lined from edge to edge, is just little things of bags. As he takes one out, he carefully opens it up, takes a sniff. Yeah, that's mint, and puts it in your cup. And says, "Okay, this shouldn't just take a second." As he takes out a jug of water, and Cat puts it on top of an iron stove where he uses produce flame to start heating up the tea. And he says, "Well, I hope everyone's happy with mint or Earl Grey. I could break out some more of the exotic flavors, but that's only for people of refined taste. If not to assume, of course, but
You mean people who pretend they don't like normal flavors to sound fancy?
You watch as a smile and a tired sigh comes out of his face, and he says, "You have no idea."
I would like to partake in some of the more fancy brands.
You watch as he takes out a purple one, and he says, "This is supposed to be the flavors of the Feywild." As he pops it open, and you watch as it leaves a purple trail of fog as it leaves the big bag into the cup, and he says, I don't know the flavor of it because every time I drink it, I forget what it tastes like." As he gives a kind of worried smile.
I think I've piqued the bunny folks' interest in this tea in particular.
Can I try a sip?
The water's almost done boiling. As he hurriedly puts it back up in the cabinet and says, I don't really get many visitors, and I usually have to bring these tea bags out, so I'm glad I get to make them myself without the prying eyes of the butlers over-judging what I bring.
You have butlers?
No. In the College of Magi, many of our... You know what patronage is?
No.
It's when a nobleman or a church sponsors a up-and-coming magic user, whether they be a bard, a holy user of magics, or, like me, a humble person from a humble beginning. I usually have to talk to these people before they can give me a sponsor. I learned very early on that everything from the type of tea you serve, from the way that you keep your hands in check while talking to them, affects whether they sponsor you or not.
Why?
They are too demanding. He gives another tired smile as you hear a whistle. As you see the jug of tea has a little spout on it. And the top of it has been covered. As he says, "Oh, there it is." As he uses Mage Hand to pick it up and pour each of you a little cup of tea in these nice wooden bowls that, although seem like you get them at a tavern, are whittled down to a point where you wouldn't get splinters and such.
Bunny folk.
My name's Keone.
Sorry, I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I was just calling you bunny folk for the temper. Keone.
So let me do this again with better outlook. As he says that, you watch as he says some words. And moves his hand in a certain gesture, and he decasts disguised self. As you watch as his peasant pet clothing flows out into nice blue traveler's clothes with puffy white pants and large brown boots. You watch as his face, seemingly rough and tumbled with some specks of dirt and whatnot, has been transformed into nice, tidy, long black hair that goes down to the base of his ears. His eyes that were once amber have been softened into a nice dull brown, and he seems to be a little bit skinnier than before. With his earlier form, he seemed to have a little tuft of muscle underneath his clothing, at least. This, he seems like, well, a washboard would be an apt comparison. I'm sorry for the mild deception, but muggings are a expectation rather than an unfortunate risk.
Guys.
Hey, Garter, we just started. What?
I just got some food. I can probably do some homework while I'm in here, so I just didn't expect you guys would be playing in Character Forge.
Okay. You, after he reveals his true form, you watch as his door slings open as a giant Goliath walks in. Garter, would you like to describe your character?
Well,
Do you need to pull up your sheet?
yes, sorry.
Okay.
No, I just had food in my mouth.
I'm sorry.
Me, Garter. Goliath Barbarian.
Like, description.
Very big, very muscle.
Yeah. Little hair.
Large weapons. His hands are his largest weapons. And he has a dog.
As he walks in, you watch as from his shadows pops out a shadow mastiff. Although it's still seemingly growing out of its puppy phase, it seems to be just about grown. This
Keone, she just jumps at the sight of it and ducks behind a chair.
You watch as the dog gives out. Garter, you reflexively, your danger sense actually flares up for a second as what used to be a soft puppy's bark has turned into a guttural bark of a shadow mastiff alpha. And
you've grown so much.
After hearing its master's words, you watch as it goes sitting down, and its jagged jawline opens up, and it starts in simple and calm demeanor. I put what it looks like in combat and skill checks for those who want to know.
So just change it to Shadow Mastiff Alpha.
Yep.
All right.
As he turns and looks, a little bit startled by this, he says, "Wow, I spend months searching for exotic races to, write my thesis on, and now they're just walking into my house. This is one of the best days ever." You watch as he gives out a heart.
This is your house?
It does look rather-
To be honest, I thought this was the outhouse.
Quite frankly, I thought that with the way he dressed, he would have something a bit more less humble.
You watch as, with both of you, he gives out a hearty laugh and he says, well, like I said, I have to hide my appearance, and I have to hide how I live. As he waves his hands towards the staircase, and you watch as right behind the staircase, disappearing like fog, seeping down, is a staircase leading down, very well lit, in fact, towards another level, and says, that down there is where they have a bigger section that is practically the size of a house on its own. You see, I take great care in my image, especially when I'm not in college. Okay.
I think it's a nice house. You're just missing ice.
Well, he gave you
I
dry
think
ice.
I think it
It's
looks
not enough
rather-
ice.
Well, it is.
So, Thorn is here too, right?
Yeah, he's
Yep.
just vibing. You watch as he takes out another cup and hurriedly pours you a nice little cup of tea. Would you like to take a sip?
Thank you. Thorn, who are all these is?
Keone
Just
just
some
pops up
folks I
from
met
behind.
in the market.
Oh, you met them at the market?
Yep.
What's a market?
That happens a lot more often than I think.
Keone, a market is a place where people buy things.
You
Garden,
pay for things?
you
At least some people do.
as you take another look, you see what seems to be a human person with bunny ears, dressed in very fancy clothing, and a very pale elf alongside with her. And you see a very nice dressed man, clean shaven, straight black hair that goes down to his ears, wearing blue traveler's clothes as he looks at you and says, "Welcome, I am Roderick von Kleiss, a student of the College of Magi. I'm here to... And is it alright if I have a interview with you to gain a understanding of your race?"
Oh, my son goes to some magic colleges.
"Oh, which one?"
The college,
Aramore.
sorry, what was that?
I'll let you pronounce it, because I want to see if you can...
Arlomer.
Did you find that yet? Hold on. Let's see here.
Trisha sits patiently and pulls a sweet roll from her pouch, her travel pouch.
A sweet roll. I haven't had one in ages. Also, I want you to guess how that is pronounced. Or,
Arrowman.
Airman.
you watch as his face suddenly turns to Oz. He says, Arrowman, that's practically the best place to learn magic. Your son is very lucky. I'm surprised he would... If he came to my school, he'd practically become Archmage within a day.
Archmage is that's like special mage, right?
It's the most powerful mage you can be.
Ah,
But anyways...
well, Weimar has a lot of fire.
Ooh. Pyromancy is very dangerous, especially in these cities made of wood. But if you would like to take a seat, it's going to be a bit.
Excuse me, Mr. Largeman?
He's talking to you. She's talking to you, Garter.
Oh, she said large man. Yeah.
I thought Keone said lodge, like lodge.
Oh,
Was my accent really that strong?
Oh.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So
Large. Lodge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have we received our tea?
Not yet.
Is that safe? And she just kind of peeks up from behind the chair and points at the Mastiff.
Okay, guys, come on now. Come on. Now's not the time to spill the tea. But don't cheat.
But anyways.
Young rabbit person, if it dares to harm you,
You,
I will handle it.
you watch as the dog gets up from sitting, and as it gets up, you watch as its body is coming in and out of shadows. You recognize this as a Shadowfell creature. One of
The second she realizes, her eyes light up and she runs over like it's a small puppy and starts to try and pet it.
You watch as, at first, seeing this a person run up to it, it's taken aback, almost like it doesn't even get a second to growl. But as soon as you start petting it, it immediately like starts lapping at you, licking at your cheek, licking at your face, and at your hands. It's enjoying
She's
itself.
just absolutely loving it.
As you're petting her, you hear as its tail hits the side, hits his wall. You watch as he's fervently taking notes out of a little notepad he takes off of his belt pouch and says, "This is quite interesting. Where did you? What do you do, Trish?"
Trisha stands and looks over at the book. Do you take notes often about people you just meet?
Well, if when they do stuff interesting. As you look at the book, you see there's lots of little inscriptions. You can see from his newest pages, he writes about Train, their blue skin, seemingly always covered in moisture of some kind. Proud demeanors talking about their race's histories, even though it's unknown to most. It seems to be a brief description and summary of how they act and what their culture is like based off the individual.
Mm-hmm.
You watch as he takes his cup of Earl Grey and walks over to the small table, which has 6 chairs. He pulls the small chair out and sets it down and says, "Oh, Goliath, I guess I could do this." You watch as he grabs the chair and he casts Enlarge on it. It's now a chair fit for Garter.
Magic chairs.
More like magic hands. Or I could shrink you so you could fit in the chairs. But
Garter does not like the idea of having magic casting on him.
All right.
Usually doesn't go well.
I won't question it, but I think it's now time. Our tea is about getting cold, except for yours. As he points over, the ice still bubbling your tea, but instead of it being hot, you can feel the cold through the cup now. And you watch as the white actually mixes with the purple of the Fey tea.
Ugh, iced tea. There.
She looks at him and goes, "Is there any other way to have a drink?" And just sips it. Oh, it's warm.
Only royalty drinks that way.
Do you both take a sip of your wild Fey tea?
It could use something.
As you-
Trisha reaches.
As you both take a sip, I want you to roll D100.
Okay.
Oh god.
Is it?
I guess Garter will sip tea too.
Where do I?
Man handed
Man,
I don't know who it is, but he handed Garter a teacup too, right?
Yeah, Earl Grey. It's still hot though.
93.
93?
What's with me and getting the 90s today?
You watch as you feel something. You feel something that you haven't felt in a while. Wild magic. As your size suddenly balloons up to the size of Garter. You're now equal to him. Yes, you are set.
Garter did shrink.
You are now
Damn it!
Actually, you're actually 2 inches taller than Garter.
No.
No,
She looks at the man and goes, "You can do that too?"
You watch as he gives his wild smile and says, "I told you it was Faye. Trish, I want you to do the same. Roll a D100.
Garter wants to roll to get taller as well.
That's only if you take a sip of her tea.
I thought he already handed me a cup of tea.
No, they got a special Faye tea. Would you like to?
Aw.
Would you like to ask a sip?
Yes, could I have some
You could have some of mine, Garter.
fate tea?
As you take a sip, we're using your previous roll. You tried to say words, but instead, tiny pink bubbles fly out of your mouth. You cannot talk for the next minute.
I love wild magic.
I guess Garter couldn't talk well anyways.
So I
She
can't
just
talk
starts
either.
popping the bubbles.
Trish, did you roll the same thing, a 49?
Oh, I rolled a 56.
56?
Yeah, you
Oh
said
no.
Oh no.
Trish, your head feels a bit itchy. As you scratch it, you suddenly look at your hand, and you have a fistful of hair.
What
At-
in the hell did you give me, sis?
Is that chemotherapy medicine?
As you each watch as all of her hair falls out, eyebrows and all, as his eyes go wide. He says, well, you watch as he starts. You watch as
now.
You watch as he takes a big book where you see that the spines are made of bark and the pages are made of leaf. As he starts shifting through it, and he likes, oh, I'm sorry, my dear. It says that one of the many side effects. There are 100 of them. There are many, of course. 50 to be exact. One of them is that all of your hair will fall out, but will grow perfectly back to what it once was in a day.
It's better.
I did just remember one of the results of wild magic is casting fireball on self.
That's
so,
what I thought it was for
Yeah,
a
you
second.
basically
I was like,
implode.
Well,
yeah,
well,
no, it can go really bad.
here's the thing. You realize that could be one of the things. What another thing is, they grow a beard of feathers that disappears as soon as they sneeze.
If Garter got a beard of feathers, he would just never sneeze.
You watch as he says, well, I guess I can give you one of these, as he quickly and quietly goes to one of the panels on his wall and pops it out for a second and takes out a giant powdered wig that a judge would wear.
Vile. That's filthy and vile. I'll throw my own hair back.
You watch as he casts prestidigitation.
Garter will take the wig.
You watch as Garter takes the wig and puts it on his head. You may add that to your equipment.
Garter doesn't
Keone
have
is
hair,
happy.
so...
Yes.
Trisha slams down her cup of tea. Magical human, or whatever you are. Do you have a new glass I could have? Of no tea, just glass, please.
Okay. You watch as he quickly goes back to the cabinet, and you watch as you see now that there are 3 little layers. One of wooden cups that you just gave, glass cups, and then very ornate cups that seem to be in molds of things. People, they have, images that surround them like you'd see in a cathedral of, men fighting monsters, clerics healing people and such. He picks up a simple glass, though, and hands it to you and says, I'm so sorry. I hope that the next day goes by quickly for both me and you. As he hands you the glass.
Trisha pulls out a large vial of a crimson syrupy liquid out of her satchel pouch and pours it into the glass and sets it upon the table, crossing her legs, looking at disturbed with daggers in her eyes.
You mean Roderick?
Sorry. What's your name again?
Roderick.
Right.
The NPC's name is Roderick.
Okay, Roderick, sorry.
As you do this, Garter, the bubbles stop seeping out of your mouth, and you can talk again.
If your hair does not grow back within 24 hours, you can file for a lawsuit under Garter and Cheetah Legal Offices, where we specialize in handling wild magic cases gone wrong.
Trisha
I mean,
takes
one of them is turning yourself into a potted plant, so you can't do shit.
Yeah.
Trisha takes a sip from her glass and looks at Garter. Thank you, I'll keep that in mind.
Keone just looks at Roderick and goes, so how did you get access to wild magic?
In the college of Banburg, we have this place called the Isle of Portals, a long hallway filled with portals. Well, you ever heard of a color splash?
Yes?
A color splash is a portal that leads to a different realm. But these color splashes have been taken from different places, and the college has been collecting them. The oldest one we have is of the Feywilds. We have many.
Can we see it?
I'd like to see it as well.
It's only offered to students of junior or higher, which I am of junior. And special friends and experts upon the subject. I believe that I can give you a recommendation.
What subject do you need to be an expert on?
Well, an expert in, well, for the color splashes of ultraplanar beings. Things that may be out of this world. For example, the reason I got into the Feywild.
You've been?
Yeah, I've been there because that was one of my first studies, and I got approval from my teachers to go into there and study a bit. Luckily, we have a time dial too, so when the veils decide to change how the time works there, we know. Right now, it's to the point where when you go in there, time is slowed. So you don't have... So when I went there, I spent, I believe, a year in there. And when I returned, it's only been a month. The time won't change for another 50 years, so there's good timing to it as well.
So, Roderick,
Roderick.
you know a lot about magics.
Yes?
Do you know how to kill someone before they can use an incantation to teleport away or turn invisible?
What the?
You ever heard of Counterspell?
We've been chasing down a cultist, okay?
You ever heard of Counterspell?
Counter that.
It's the fastest spell known to man. A spell that interrupts another person's casting of a spell. Although it is only a chance to do so, you can do it. Also, Garter and
Wait.
Thorn, remember the Korig.
Oh,
Garter doesn't know magics, but he could use a counter spell scroll. Right?
Yes, you can actually, though they are very expensive.
Like 10 gold, 11 gold.
It's only
600
expensive if you pay for it.
650 for the baseline.
Bloody hell.
Garter tries counting up to there on his fingers.
You fail.
It's
The math
only
doesn't quite work
expensive
out.
if you pay for it. If you don't pay for it, it's cheap.
Mhm.
I could get you one for half the price.
Garter has never been too good with thievery. You might imagine why.
What's thievery?
Oh, you cute.
That's when
adorable-
you want something, but you don't pay for it.
I always do that. I'm not a thief.
Huh.
Oh,
Garter never thought about it that way.
I like this Kiani. How do you say your name again? I'm freaking retarded.
Peony.
Keone. Okay. I keep on trying to say Kiani for some reason.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that's
Oh
what I was.
god, no. I'm wholesome
Keone.
enough.
Garter, did you get the message?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keone.
Well,
By chance.
I don't have any particular thoughts on the subject. As he says, keeping a closer eye out on your hands. Making sure they're kept to yourself.
She just looks him in the eye and casts a mage hand with a grin on her face.
Oh, wait. Garcher just remembered. Sheeta gave Garcher letter. Garcher was supposed to ask around about Korid.
You watch as his eyes kind of
Okay.
narrow and says, "A Kuriv, huh?
Yeah, we were supposed to kill one of those.
Are you sure kill is the right way? No, I don't think killing is proper in terms of those types of creatures. You see, they are.
That's what Garcher resorts to most of the time, so...
Kiana, when you hear Korig, your mind rings as you remember those small little creatures with hairs bigger than their heads.
Why would you want to kill them?
They,
I don't remember. I only have a letter with ask about Korid on it, and usually Garcher assumes that means he has to kill it.
She has her hands on her hips and she's just looking down at him specifically because she's two inches taller than him and goes,
Hey, that's not fair.
we're gonna fight. If you
That's not fair.
we're gonna fight.
well, not in here, but the Korids can sniff out minerals themselves and are very profitable towards miners and the such. If I have to proper a guess, if you truly want, you could search the abandoned mines in the Outer Ring. But they've been abandoned for so long, I doubt there's anything remaining in there. Even the guards are starting to guard it because people have been going missing in there.
What you're saying is I should try and capture it. Probably.
What I'm saying is, try caution and maybe search out some more clues, he says. But let's get back to it this at hand. As he takes a big old sip. I would like...
Trisha
for,
also takes this.
You watch as he takes out a big old book, flips to a new page, and then writes something at the very top, and he says, "Let's start off with you, Pale One. I'm still sorry for the hair, but I would still love to hear..."
Am I allowed to cuss? Is my character allowed to cuss?
Yes, you can.
Fuck off.
You watch as he takes a little breath and he says, "What is your race?"
Have you become British?
Fuck off, you limey cunt.
No one in Britain says limey.
But this is medieval times.
I say daft cunt.
Yeah, they say bloody
Bloody
No, they
hell.
say shut the fuck up, you wanker.
Wait, I wouldn't know. I don't know what kind of language they speak in Britain.
Britty. Fuck off.
Britain!
Britain.
Don't make me bring out the British.
The British.
The British are coming. The British are coming.
I would speak Viking, but you'd never understand.
That's not appropriate.
So anyways, he asks with bated breath, "What is your race?"
Me.
Yes.
You don't want to know.
Well, I guess I can't coerce you.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that's what he was asking about.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm so confused again.
He wants to know your race.
My race?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's doing a thesis on races.
Oh,
He's a racist.
Oh no!
I'm not sure exactly what I am, but I began as a wood elf.
A common race out of Moonwald. Are you from there?
I was.
I won't pry too far if it's a troubling past. I just want necessary information.
I'm a wood elf, but I'm also a vampire. Does that help answer your questions?
His eyes go wide for a second, and although you see a brief flash of fear, you watch as it twinges over to something you have never really seen before with the answering of that question. Excitement. As he says, "A vampire? What? This is amazing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You watch as he immediately takes his quill that always seems dabbed in ink and says, "May I ask which type are you? I heard that there's rumors of some types of vampires, but I never learned if they were true or not."
There is different types. I am what you call a Exalian.
Exalian. You watch as he writes that down. An Exalian. So there's an Exalian and a what?
I was bitten by a true blood vampire, which is called I can't remember what it's
Don't
called.
worry, I got it for you.
Okay. I was bitten at a young age, and now I am one. That's basically how it goes. There's other types as well, but I'm not quite familiar with it. I haven't fully educated myself yet.
Oh.
That's strange. Garter thought people were afraid of vampires. I didn't think they were like celebrities. Was Garter wrong?
Some people find us fascinating, Garter.
Oh. Well, you also, where is it again? I'm trying to find it. Varieties. Dampier. He writes down Dampier, which is a half vampire, which you mentioned, and a Zeratoli, or as you call it, a true vampire. As he says, this is fascinating. Is there? I don't believe. Are they a unified race with a culture, or are they simply more of a band type where each to their own individual needs?
That I'm not aware of, sadly. I've only been a vampire for a few years now. I've been slowly educating myself as I go.
He watches, he nods, and he says, Is there any major differences between you and the True Bloods?"
They were born that way, so I imagine they came from they're an offspring of two other vampires. As I said before, I'm not fully educated in this. But all I know is some of us are created by True Bloods. As I am an example of such.
No. Thank you. Do you have any, has this transformation, this metamorphosis, granted you new powers of sorts?
Oh, yes, several. They're lovely, but at the same time a burden.
Oh. I'd love to hear about them.
Well, sit down, or you're already sitting, sorry. Well, sit back and I'll tell you a bit about them.
Garter has his own question.
Hmm?
Are vampires allergic to onion?
No, it's garlic. It's garlic.
No,
Sure
Garter
you
gets
have
that,
this?
but onion and garlic are very similar. No?
No, I can eat onion. I mean, it does give me an awful stomach ache sometimes, but I do believe that I can consume it.
He's
I
right.
have a question. If vampires are allergic to onion, are they allergic to ogres?
He's writing this down fervently.
I didn't think about that one. They both do have layers.
Oh.
Mr. Roderick, what would you like to know?
This is all fascinating. And so, obviously you have your fangs, right?
Uh-huh. Trisha bares her fangs at him,
Fascinating.
licking each individually.
Fascinating. And did they just come in once you were transformed, or were they substituted?
They were substituted. The old canines fall out, and then the new fangs grow in. Quite a painful process.
Thank you. This is. Do you have any? I've heard that some vampires have the ability to fly or make zombies just through their methods. Is this true?
Yes, it's true. I actually myself can fly.
His eyes go wide and says, "How's this process done? Do you transform into a different type of creature? Do you grow wings, or?" you as an Elixian, your lower half transforms, and you can choose whether it's a procession of fog or a seemingly endless horde of bats.
Okay. Well, being an Elixian, I can choose my form. I could show you if you like.
Please do.
Well, we'd have to go outside. I don't wish to destroy your lovely home with my creatures of the night.
As you say that, he says, right now with people outside, I think it'd be dangerous to show your true form.
Not in the woods.
The woods.
Nobody was.
The woods would be a day's travel, my dear, and we'd have
Oh,
to.
sorry. I thought we were near the woods. My bad.
Yeah, it's all right. But I understand that. It
Do you
could
by
have been done.
chance have a more open space in your home that we could do?
You may follow me. As he gets up and walks down towards the basement, book still in hand, and ink, and quill, writing fervently with endless ink. Do you each want to witness this?
I'd like Keone to see. Keone.
I'm not allowed to go down into strangers' basements.
Garter does not know about stranger danger, so...
Both Keone and Garter bump their heads on the ceilings.
Ow.
Ow.
When will it be small again?
And you each follow him into...
Oh, no, she doesn't.
Oh, you don't?
Trisha stands and brushes off her dress, removing crumbs of previous sweet rolls she's snuck from her travel bag, and follows Roderick down the stairs.
As you follow him...
Keone-
Let me guess. Somebody stole your sweet roll.
I'd like to try stealing my sweet rolls. Plus, they contain blood, so unless if you have an appetite for
Garter
it.
has eaten human before.
What?
Yep.
Hey, he's a Goliath.
story.
It's not cannibalism.
Would you like to partake in a sweet roll of fresh human blood?
Garter is not adverse to confectionaries, but Garter does just like meat.
You watch as he's fervently writing this down and says, Goliath culture might be open towards cannibalism.
I said it's not cannibalism. Garter isn't some kind of freak, he just occasionally eats human.
Keone
all-
just looks between the two of them, points to the front door, and goes, I'm gonna get some fresh air while you do that.
You each get some fresh air.
Oh, come back, little rabbit folk.
Oh.
I won't drink your blood, I promise. I only
She
like
just
them.
stomps out the door.
You hit.
She's just like, oh, bye!
Wait, rabbit folk don't taste like actual rabbit, do they?
Oh, I would imagine, but we're not
She
going
runs
to.
out that door faster than the Flash.
As you run.
Trisha,
As you
Trisha
Flash.
giggles.
Savior
Trishana
of the universe.
Trishana giggles at Keone's. I can't say it right because I'm retarded. His reaction.
As Keone stumbles clumsily out with her new gigantic form, she hits her head and shoulders on the doorway, and finally pops out and looks around and sees that she's actually taller than the wagon. Only by about a few inches, though.
This isn't fair.
She just looks down at herself and goes, I'm gonna go find something to fix this. Is there a potion shop nearby?
Yes, my dear. As he yells as he goes down the basement.
Okay, I'm gonna go find it.
Okay, while she's on her individual journey, Trish, you see this giant open basement, about it's in total 30. This giant underground portion seems to even go this seems impossibly big for just being underground. 30 feet tall in total, covered in nice, beautiful ebony wood.
Now this is less humble.
You see in the corner a blazing fireplace made of beautiful wood that seems not to be burning. The fire not even spreading out. Fire is burning an innocent blue. You swear that you see people dancing in the flames, like you'd see in an old folk town. The walls are lined with bookshelves after bookshelves. lined to the very top with big old ladders. One that goes to the halfway, one goes all the way up, both of which he used. Rarely, in fact, as dust has collected on both, and they are both set aside away from the bookshelves. You see that the floor itself is covered in mats of what seems to be fake fur of animals, not real. And there seems to be nice ornate little soft chairs, very long, seemingly to accommodate 3 or 4 people, in a semicircle around the fire. He takes a seat on one big puffy chair and points to another one across from him. Now this is a more comfortable place. After you fly, I'd imagine you'd like a better seat.
Wait a second. Why are there exactly 3 chairs?
There's actually 2 comfy chairs and 2 big couches.
Well, Garter's gonna take the couch.
Garter takes up half the couch.
Trisha brushes off her dress and looks at Roderick. Are you ready? I am going to have to get more comfortable to do this, however.
I understand.
Trisha slowly unzips the back of her dress. Don't worry, I have clothes underneath.
You watch as the blushes immediately vanish into more of an embarrassment as he says, "Oh."
Trisha unzips her dress and lets it fall to the floor as she wears linen pajamas underneath that have on top of it leather armor.
Oh. Well, now.
So
Wait, you're always wearing pajamas?
It's more comfortable when I need to change than dropping naked, Garter.
Makes sense.
So this first one is the one I prefer. It's more of a, I would say, mist. I'm not sure exactly how it begins, but I prefer this one as it's more delicate and beautiful in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Trisha stands straight up and cracks her fingers, looking at Roderick. And slowly you watch as her body, lower half of her body, turns into a mist which is slightly glowing, a faint hint of purple,
Mm-hmm.
as she levitates slowly off the floor.
Beautiful, my dear, beautiful.
The purple, it fits. I always did love the color purple. Anywho, she slowly drifts back to the ground as her legs reappear. This one is more when I just like to scare someone. Slowly, you hear the squeaking and the screeching of bats surrounding her. Where they come from is unknown.
Oh.
They surround her and circle spiraling around her body as her lower half begins to disappear, and almost a tornado of bats levitate her off the floor. As you can see, this is why I don't particularly like this one. It's disgusting.
A little grotesque, if I don't mind saying, as he writes in his giant brown book about these 2 forms.
Trisha slowly, as the bats disappear to where we never know, Trisha floats back to the ground and picks up her dress, slowly zipping it back on. That's what I'm able to do as when it comes to flying.
That's amazing.
Thank you
for showing me this, these abilities that I'm sure others only see before death. As he
So how do the bats fly?
And on that question, Keone,
Hello.
we're gonna jump cut to her as she goes towards what is a place called Ivan's Potion Stand. They see she watches as she slowly reverts back to her normal size. As
She just stops at the door and sighs.
the person inside looking in bewilderment saying, hello, as you watch as a rock gnome, dirtied up after a day of experimenting, hair in a frizzle black in the middle, white on the outsides, all frizzled out and almost like an afro type deal. Wearing thick goggles where you can barely even see the dark blue of his eyes. As he says, "Well, hello there, you must be one of the students of the Magi."
No, but I'd like to be. It sounds fun.
Oh, well, come in. What type of potion are you dealing with?
Well, I was going to try and find a potion to fix my height, but I guess it fixed itself on its own.
Yeah, it only lasted for a minute. Oh, must have been a failed experiment or some sort of deal with a potion?
Roderick gave me some tea from the Feywild.
Roderick, that little devil.
What do you mean?
Oh, he's a sneaky sort, always trying to get... He always plays underhanded tactics, always pretending to be a poor little peasant folk wishing to hear the stories of those above him. I teach him an alchemy class. Big house, though. Very nice. Helped him build it. You ever been to the underground?
No.
That's what I call it. It's a beautiful place made of ebony. More expensive than some of the mansions here that these wish to be nobles use. I love that boy like my own son sometimes, but I swear I spoiled him.
You said he tricks people?
Yes, he usually hides his appearance. He usually looks like a peasant, but then if he trusts you, which he rarely does, he shows off his ghastly blue shirt and big old pantaloons and prim cut hair. Oh, so fancy.
She starts laughing and goes, I thought he had mushrooms on his legs.
Mushroom. You watch as he grabs his belly and says, "Oh, you're a rabbit folk, aren't you? He must have picked you up on the road. That's how you know of him, don't you?"
He picked a few of us up, saying he was researching races.
Yes, he's really into that. You know what? For dealing with him, you want to do something?
Sure.
You watch as he walks back and says, "Great, let me do something." He busts open this small back door that is made for his height, around 3 feet. It takes out a crate of potions. It says, He's low on potions, and let's go deliver it towards him. Although,
okay.
Can you hold this for me? I'm sure you're much stronger.
Sure.
You pick it up with ease.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
How do you become a student?
You must show a way of magics. Either an innate born sense of magic or a way of magic. Some people are born with it, or some people wish to have it.
Maybe they're born with it, maybe it's me.
What?
Nothing.
He shrugs it off and says, "Well, let's go." As you're holding this crate, it's much smaller than when he held it. It looked like it was about the size of him, but as you're holding it, it seems like a regular old crate. That you follow him back towards Roderick's house and says, Let me show you the basement. I know all the little secrets, ins and outs of it and whatnot."
Oh, I think he's down there right now seeing how Trishana transforms. They started talking about eating people and drinking blood, so I left.
College. I always tell that boy, stop with them jokes. You watch as he shakes his head as he begins walking downstairs. Do you follow?
She will, but she'll just go, "Oh, it wasn't a joke. They had a treat filled with blood."
You watch as he's about to say something until he watches and comes down to see Trish slowly floating down with the grotesque bats that slowly disappear and her legs reform. Trish.
Trish gasps at the sight of another You didn't tell me there was other people here. I don't do this just for anyone.
You watch it.
She's
You watch as Roger goes, "What? Old man!" He says in a rough, angry tone, looking at the old rock gnome. The rock gnome is aghast and says, "Holy shit, a vampire!" Says with a giant grin.
Language!
Trisha rushes over and grabs the man by the neck. You're lucky I don't kill you.
The man.
But you're one of Roderick's friends, so I won't. She drops him, and he falls with a thud. I'm sorry you had to see that, little bunny folk.
You watch as his face goes from scared shitless to thankful to now pain as you drop him tailbone first on the steps, and you hear as he falls down the steps. You watch as Roderick puts down the book calmly onto a nice little table ornate in front of the fireplace and walks towards the old man as he falls on the ebony floor. You watch as he goes, "Old man, you need to be more careful," as he whispers a word in Celestial and casts Healing Word on him, healing him back to what he once was.
What does he say in Celestial?
He says in the softest, most gentle tone, "Fuckhead."
Keone just looks at him and goes, language!
You watch.
Trisha takes a knee.
Language? Garter knows a lot of language.
Trisha takes
Fuck. Shit. Son of a bitch.
She just puts the crate down as
Especially-
fast as possible and folds her ears down to cover them.
Trisha takes a knee as beads of sweat begin to form on her forehead and neck as she breathes heavily, trying to calm herself down.
You watch as Roderick notices this and immediately casts a simple spell. Do you wish for the spell to be cast upon you? Is the real question, though.
What was it? I'm sorry, you broke up for a second there.
You watch as Roderick seemingly says something and moves his hands again in some sort of arcane tradition. And do you wish for the spell to be cast upon you as he kind of points
What
to-
language should he speak it in?
Right now he's speaking it in, well, primordial.
Oh, what's he say?
He's saying there's no need to sow such strong emotions. Let me calm them for you.
It's not that I'm uncalm, Roderick. It's that I'm hungry now.
Why is he speaking gobbledygook?
Do you accept this spell casting upon you?
Will it help with a bloodlust?
I believe so.
If it works, hopefully. But if it doesn't, I do have a vial of blood over there in my satchel. And that should soothe my hunger for now. Eventually I will have to go out and hunt, sadly.
You watch as he seems a little hesitant at the word of hunt, but still casts upon you. Both you and Keone are affected. Your strong emotions have been suppressed, including your hunger, which has went from something to a deep root in your stomach to more of a peckish desire, like a sweet roll could suffice.
Trisha gasps and holds her stomach. You don't know how long it's been since I've had an almost full stomach. I try not to kill humans. I like to just grab a few drops in their sleep. I don't like to hurt them. It's not my type of thing to do.
Fascinating.
That, or when I do kill certain people.
If it's like really bad people.
Yes, really bad people. That's who I kill.
You watch as he picks up the old man and lays him down on the couch right beside Thorn. And goes, if you can please bring those potions down. I'd actually want to show show them to you as payment.
Keone picks up the crate, and as she's bringing them down, she goes, "Oh, I have news!
Yes.
I'm going to become a student!"
You watch.
Student, why would you do that?
You, as you say this, he was taking a deep sip of tea. As he almost chokes on it, swallows it, and says, "What makes you think that?"
He said I can if I show them I have magic ability.
And you do?
Yeah?
Huh. Well,
You never asked.
I was gonna get to you, but the vampire is kind of more pressing matters, if you do understand.
That's very disrespectful. You've never seen
That is racist.
a royal before. You should have
royal?
been after her first.
I'm a royal?
Royal?
I'm a royal?
She's a royal?
I thought by the color of purple you had on your neck
Oh.
that you were royal. Excuse me.
Oh.
I thought you said you had a purple dress or something. I can't remember.
So did
No.
you just make the association that it must have been a royal
It
purple?
was blue. Well, my character's wearing a royal purple, so maybe I
Wait,
mixed
what's-
up.
What's royal?
There's a concept known as royal purple. As purple used to be one of the hardest dyes to get, only royalty back in the day would ever wear anything with purple on it.
No.
Like-
Keone's asking what royalty is.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Don't know what royalty is.
I think
Well,
the college would be helpful for her for just the need of education,
Taxation without representation.
but
I am
Run.
very smart. Just because I'm not well known in what your world is like doesn't mean I'm dumb.
I'm sorry, but that's what I meant to as you can learn more about our world through them. That's one of the basic necessities. I'm sorry.
Trishana pulls out a sweet roll that does not contain human blood or blood in the sort and hands it to Keone. Keone, sorry, I keep fucking that up. To Keone. Here, this one doesn't contain any blood, and maybe it'll ease your little mind.
I think I'm gonna let her ease up. Thorin, may I get you were a hill dwarf, if I remember correctly, correct? Right?
Yes,
But you seem to have these deformities.
it was an unfortunate thing. I was captured by a skull dragon and experimented on. These are the results.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's nothing really.
Okay. How about you, Goliath? We haven't seen much of your kind of late. Do you know much of your culture and people?
My tribe got kind of destroyed when I was a kid. I got kidnapped by a big bad dragon. I mostly rely on my friend Sheeta. Though as a Goliath, I am very strong.
Okay. I do hope that one day I'll get to learn more about your race. I guess the final one is
I can't think of anyone from my tribe who had hair on their head.
baldness in the.
Only beards, really.
Baldness has been a common trait among giants, so
Even the
I guess
women?
but this confirms it as he writes that down.
He's bald.
Well, technically, he's wearing that wig.
You're the boss
Have you
one,
ever met
Trishana.
Etten?
Oh, fuck off.
You watch.
Roderick,
I
have you
want my
ever met in Etten?
Can't say.
If you ever do, call them runt. He pisses them off.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Okay, don't call Ettins runts. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
I said do.
I know.
It's hilarious.
I know, and I don't want to make fun of them.
Trishana looks up at Garter. How can any of your race be runts?
Well, to make this clear, they spend all their day beating their meat. And that's why one hand is a lot more buff than the other.
How
What do you mean by beating their meat?
The
Like,
truth is, Garter did not tell any lies there.
do you mean for food?
Yes, little bunny folk. Yes. Beating meat for food. It tenderizes the meat so
Yes.
well. It's
They don't
delicious.
like to chew on their meat, so they pulverize it.
you
It's
watch,
disgusting.
So all Goliaths are chefs.
No, not all of them. The runts, I suppose, are.
you watch